Biharī Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhams Parivrajkacharya Stotra Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON Founder-Acharya BBT Founder-Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki Samaved Bhakta Vrind ki Samaved Bhakta Vrind ki Shri Shri Guru Gauranga ki Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakambhitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishraya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna. Seeking the blessings of all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. This morning, as part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we are discussing this topic, Vaishnava qualities. It's a very important topic because there's a lot of confusion and sometimes contradictions as to whether these qualities of a Vaishnava, because everything is judged by a quality. Prabhupada used to give an example of a Mysore pak. In South India, especially if you know, there's a sweet called as Mysore pak. And the Mysore pak is considered pure if it has pure ingredients, especially the ghee. Pure ghee Mysore pak. So, similarly, whether one has to work on the qualities to develop, to become a Vaishnava or a pure Vaishnava, or whether one should work on becoming a Vaishnava by practicing pure devotional service. So I'll focus today on only evidence from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that when one practices pure devotional service, all these qualities which are there in a pure Vaishnava, they automatically manifest. One need not work on them, each of these qualities. There are many evidences which we cannot go through in this one class. I'll only present the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu evidence. Then there is the Bhagavad Gita evidence, there is Madhurya Kadamni, all these, from all these texts we can prove. But today we'll, in this short class, prove only from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu perspective. So, what are the Vaishnava qualities? Everything is judged by qualities. And especially in the Gita, Krishna explains everything in the form of lakshanas, symptoms. What are the symptoms of a Sthita Pragya? What are his qualities? Dukkeshu anuvignamana sukeshu vigataspruha. So all those qualities are there. And then again in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 5th chapter, he speaks about qualities of one who is practicing the path of Jnana Yoga. 4th chapter, he speaks about the qualities of one who is situated in transcendental knowledge. In the 6th chapter, Krishna speaks about the qualities of Ashtanga. What are the symptoms of Ashtanga Yogi? And in the 12th chapter, Krishna speaks about the qualities of his pure devotees. So especially that section of 12.13 to 12.20. And then again in the 13th chapter, the 20 items of knowledge are there. And their qualities are explained in the 18th chapter. So, different places Krishna has spoken about this in the Bhagavad Gita. But especially the qualities mentioned in the 12th chapter of a Ananya Bhakta include all the qualities of whether it is a Karma Yogi or a Jnana Yogi or a Jnana Mishra Bhakta or anyone. So for us, the emphasis is the 12th chapter. So like that, what are the qualities of a pure Vaishnava? So we'll see this from the Bhagavatam. This is from the Uddhav Gita, 11:11:29. I'll just go through the verse. Kripalo akrita drohas titikshu sarva dehinam satyasaro anavadhyatma samasaropekshakaraka. Uddhava, a saintly person, is merciful, Kripalu, never injures others, akrita droha, tolerant to all living entities, titikshu satyasara, he is the most truthful. Anavedyatma, he is free from jealousy and enviousness, and his mind is equal in happiness and distress. He dedicates his time to work for the welfare of others. Sarva upakaraka. Kamer ahata dhira danto mrudu suchir akinchana aniyo mitabuk shanta stiro mach sharano muni. His intelligence is never bewildered by material desires. Kamer ahatadhi. He has controlled his senses, danta. His behavior is always pleasing, mrudu, exemplary, and he is akinchana. He never endeavors in worldly activities, aniha, and he controls his eating, mitamuk. This is also one of the qualities Krishna explains in the 18th chapter of a jnani, who is jnana nishta, who is sthita pragya. He has shantarati, shanta, and performs all his duties until completion, sthira. A saintly person is contemplative, muni, and accepts me as his only shelter, mat sharana. Then further Krishna continues. Such a person is alert, apramatta, is inscrutable, gabiratma, and is not subject to changes, dritaman. He has conquered over the 6 material qualities, jita sanga dosha. He is free from all desire for prestige, amanina, and offers honor to others, manada. He is expert in understanding others, kalya, and he is free from cheating, maitriya, and is compassionate, karunika, and he understands bondage and liberation, kavi. Then, after explaining all these qualities, Krishna says, he perfectly understands, Agyaha, that the ordinary religious duties prescribed by me in various Vedic scriptures, Maya Adishtan, possess favorable qualities that purify the performer. And he knows that neglect of such duties constitutes a discrepancy in one's life, gunandoshan. Having taken complete shelter at my lotus feet, however, a saintly person ultimately renounces such ordinary religious duties, dharman santajaya sarvan, and worships me alone, mam bhajet. He is thus considered to be the best among all living entities. Satya Sattama. So after listing all these qualities, Krishna speaks this verse 32, which is very, very important for us. Now let us go into the commentary. This is the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. There are 2 types of bhakti. Bhakti mixed with karma or jnana and pure bhakti. Thus there are 2 types of devotees. First, the mixed devotees are described in 3 verses. So those qualities which were there, mentioned in those verses, is applicable for mixed devotees. He is without change, all these qualities. He possesses these 28 qualities is the best. One who possesses all these 28 qualities is the best. A person who is shant and has conquered the six urges is a perfect devotee, devoid of the desire for impersonal liberation. He may be called a devotee who is Atmaram or a Shant Bhakta. He was a Jnana Mishra Bhakta, and previous to that he was a Karma Mishra Bhakta. So from Karma Mishra to Jnana Mishra, and then he's become a Shanta Bhakta. And he has all these qualities. When he attains perfection with bhakti as the main element, without a covering of karma and jnana, he is called a pure bhakta. That means a jnani who is practicing the jnana path, when he comes in association of a pure devotee, then he takes up to pure devotional service. Bhaunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadite. Vasudeva sarvamiti sahamatma sudurlabha. So this Bahunam Janmanamante, how many births? It's not specific mentioned. 10, 100 or 50. So Bahunam Janmanamante means until he comes in contact with a pure devotee. So then he takes up to pure devotional service. So he attains perfection when he gives up jnana and he takes up to only practice of bhakti. The Karma Mishra Bhakta is good. The Jnana Mishra Bhakta is better. And the pure Bhakta is the best. Sattama, Krishna said. A person desires to make his associates like himself, first teaches them Karma Mishra Bhakti. The thought person becomes Nishkam and performs Karma Mishra Bhakti without material desires. So this is all from the Gita. Nishkam Karma Yoga. When you start practicing without the desires. So that is the point. And Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Na karmani tajet yogi karma bis tajanti hi saha. The yogi should not give up his work, but he is abandoned by the work. Now, for your kind information, even the first 6 chapters, if you see in the Gita, Ashtanga Yoga is what? Part of Karma Yoga. How is Ashtanga Yoga part of Karma Yoga, I would say? It's Karma Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is what? Karma Yoga. And Krishna himself makes it clear in the Gita also. There are 2 levels he speaks. Yogarudha and Aruruksha. Aruruksha yogi karma karana uchyate. In the Aruruksha stage, one has to perform karma. So a yogi is also what? A karma yogi. And yogarudha taschaiva shamakaranam uchyate. Only at the yogarudha stage he can give up karma. That means when he is doing yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, that means he is performing actions. So that's why he is also in the path of karma. So that's why he should not give up his work. But by working, he ceases to work. That means when he comes to the higher stages. That is the yogarudha stage. Thus, when he reaches the state of becoming disinterested in karma, he will give up karma in a natural way and practice Jnana Mishra Bhakti. So it's a natural process. He will give up. When bhakti becomes strong in that stage maturity and one gives up jnana because of disinterest, one becomes what is called as a Atmaram Bhakta or a Shanta Bhakta. So from jnana, that mission of jnana is there. When he can give up that also, then he becomes a Shanta Bhakta or Atmaram Bhakta. Such a person has no interest in Gyan, as described in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Asmin sukha ghana murto param atmani vrishni patanena spuranti atma ramataya me vrita gato bata chirankala. Though Krishna, Paramatma, the form of concentrated bliss, resides in Dwarka, I'm so unfortunate thinking myself as Atmaram. I have wasted so much time. Because the bliss what you attain in Atmaram, is completely insignificant compared to seeing the concentrated form of Krishna. And is condemning himself. I wasted my time in practicing Ashtanga Yoga. And then he gives the next quotation. This is very famous. Harer gunakshipta matir Bhagavan Badarayani Tyagan Mahad Akhyanam Nityam Vishnu Janapriya. Sukdev Goswami, the son of Srila Vyasadeva, was not only transcendently powerful, he is also very dear to the devotees of the Lord. Thus he underwent the study of this great narration, Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sukdev Goswami is the next example of it. Of course, it is Leela. In this stage, though there was some Gyan, it is restricted by Bhakti and does not obstruct Bhakti. So, Sukdev Goswami was a Jnani and he gave up that because he got attracted to the qualities of Krishna. And although that Gyan is there, but that Gyan doesn't cover his Shuddha Bhakti. Jnana Karmadya Anavritam. Avrit and Anavritam is there. Eclipsing or not eclipsing. It was not eclipsing his bhakti. So this is a subject matter which we have to discuss when we discuss the definition of pure devotional service. Thus, it can be included in pure bhakti, which is defined as follows. So what is that pure bhakti definition? Anya vilashita shunyam. Jnana karmadya anavritam. Anukulena krishnanu shilan bhaktir uttama. The highest bhakti is defined as continuous service or emotions, anushilanam, directed towards Krishna, his expansions or others related to him. With a pleasing attitude towards Krishna, anukulena, it should be devoid of desires other than the desire to please the Lord, anya bilashita shunyam, and unobstructed by impersonal gyan, the materialist rituals of karma or other favorable acts. Unfavorable acts, sorry. Verse 32 describes the devotee practicing pure bhakti. Verse 32 means the Uddhav Gita, verse 32. So when Krishna says, he gives up all these gods and worships me alone, he is the best. Satu Sattama, Krishna used. So that verse describes the practice of pure devotional service. It has been said that one who does not give up dharma is the best. But he who gives up all dharmas completely because of faith in bhakti to me is the best. But does he give up dharma because of ignorance or atheism? Here dharma means all other dharmas. Like the Swadharma of Arjuna is Kshatriya Dharma. No. Understanding the good points in performing dharma. These dharmas are within the modes. Like the Varnashram Dharma for the Kshatriya. They have the good points and the bad points. Because in Varnashram Dharma, performing a dharma is pious activity. If you don't perform, then there is sin. But the dharma of the soul, or the jaiva dharma of the soul is what? To practice pure devotional service. And that is on a different paradigm. Anukulasya sankalpa, pratikulasya varjanam. So it's a complete different paradigm shift. So, Understanding the good points, such as purification of existence, and also understanding the bad points, with firm faith that all things are perfected by bhakti to me, gives up those dharmas. So, understanding all this, he gives up those dharmas. That is the meaning given by Sridhar Swami. A person of lower qualification will worship the Lord without giving up dharma. So here, somebody who doesn't have the adhikar to practice what? Shuddha Bhakti. He doesn't have the adhikar yet to practice Shuddha Bhakti. He will perform the worship of the Lord, but he'll also perform those dharma. He cannot give up. He cannot come to that point of sarva dharman paritejya. But the best person, however, worships the Lord while giving up all dharmas. The person who develops all the qualities starting with compassion, as mentioned above, is considered the best. So all these qualities were narrated. They are the best. But the last sentence, which indicates the best devotee, does not include the qualities previously mentioned. So all these qualities are mentioned, but for the one who is practicing pure devotion, there is no mention of qualities. Because by practicing itself pure devotional service, the qualities automatically manifest. How could a person without those qualities be considered the best? How can you consider that it is best? One should not worry that the person who performs only bhakti does not possess those qualities. One who is practicing pure devotional service, one should not consider that he doesn't possess those qualities. For it is said. Now this verse sometimes is also not understood. This is the quotation Vishwanath Chakra Thakur is giving. Bhakti pareshanubhava viraktir anyatra chaisha trika ekakalah prapadyamanasya yatashnata shus tushti pushti shuddha apayo nukhasam. So here the term bhakti refers to Shuddha Bhakti, where there is para isha anubhav, direct experience. And there is what? Virakti. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. Janeti Ashu Vairagyam. The Vairagya is complete detachment from matter. So this is Sadhya Bhakti, or what is, Shuddha Bhakti. Bhakti which is at the perfected stage. So devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things, these three occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of Krishna, in the same way that pleasure, fullness of the stomach, and relief from hunger are experienced simultaneously with each bite for a person engaged in eating. So this is the reference given, that all the qualities will manifest. And then the second reference is from Prahlad Maharaj. Now again, this verse also sometimes misunderstood. Yasya asti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. One who possesses what kind of bhakti? Akinchana bhakti or Shuddha bhakti. Sarver gunes tatra samasate sura. Now here the term sura in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami in their commentary mention that he develops all the qualities which Krishna has. And it doesn't refer to the qualities of the demigods. Because Jiva Goswami says that the worshippers of demigods, who worship the demigods, they will possess the qualities of the demigods. And the qualities of the demigods ultimately are coming from qualities of Krishna. So beginning from the Lord and all the demigods, this devotee who is practicing Akinchana Bhakti possesses all the good qualities, beginning from the Lord. That means he possesses all the qualities what the Lord has. By practice of what kind of bhakti? Akinchana Bhakti. Akinchana Bhakti. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahadgunat manoratena asati dhavato bhahi. So this translation is of Prabhupada, but in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it's very clear that he possesses the qualities of the Lord. And we will see that very soon. He who reaches the highest stage is the best, since he becomes endowed with all good qualities while destroying all bad qualities. Now a very interesting point. But even without reaching the perfect stage, not have all good qualities, the devotee at the stage of sadhana should also be considered the best. So, Shuddha Bhakti, or pure devotional service, has two stages. One is called as sadhana and other is called as sadhya. So one who has attained that perfected stage has all these qualities. In the sadhana stage, what about it? Even one who is practicing sadhana, he is considered the best. He is considered the best. Now we'll come to the specific point of discussion in our first proof, that when we say sadhana bhakti, then we are speaking about Shuddha sadhana bhakti, because that should fit in the definition of Rupa Goswami's Anya Vilashita Shunyam. It has to fit in that definition, and we'll look into that. He is better than the previously mentioned devotees because from the beginning he has accepted pure bhakti. Sadhana bhakti means he is practicing Shuddha sadhana bhakti. Now, to prove this, I am going into the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Now, after Rupa Goswami defines pure devotional service, he speaks about the 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. Kleshagni, Shubhada, Mokshalaghutakrit, Sudurlabha, Sandranand Visheshatma, and Sri Krishna Akarshani. And he mentions that the first 2 characteristics manifest at the stage of sadhana. Now it is very, very interesting, and many times this question comes among devotees, especially who are practicing for many, many years, that we are practicing bhakti, but we don't see that Kleshagni has happened. Prarabdha has not got destroyed. And the Vaiṣṇava qualities, which we are quite aware, these are not manifesting. We are still controlled by the modes. We still have these bad qualities. So what is the reason? For that, we have to ask the question that are we really practicing sadhana bhakti? Because Rupa Goswami is mentioning the 6 characteristics of Shuddha bhakti. So every time you're making an ingredient, a sweet, and it's tasting the same, but if you get pure ingredients and then prepare that sweet Mysore pak, then the taste is different. Then you can relish that bliss of the sweet. So then we have to look into whether we are practicing Mishra Bhakti or Shuddha Bhakti. So I'm just giving one reference and I will analyze this verse a little bit. So in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami speaks about what are the Shubhadha. So Shubhadha, he says, the wise explain that there are 4 types of auspiciousness, Shubha. Shubhani Akhyatini Manishibi. affection for all living entities, prinanam, being attracted to all living beings, sarva jagatam anurakta, possession of good qualities, sadguna, and happiness, sukham, as well as other items, ityadinya. So, if one is practicing Shuddha sadhana bhakti, then he should possess all these four. And this is very, very exalted for your kind information. And when Srila Sud Goswami is glorifying his spiritual master, Srila Sukdev Goswami, he's speaking about that quality. Yam pravarjantam anupaitya apaitya kritam dvapayano virah katar ajo putreti tanmayataro abhinedus tam sarvabhuta hridayam muniman natosmi. That when Sukdev Goswami left, his father was following not because he is attached to his son on a material platform, but because he had pure affection for him on a transcendental platform. That's why he is following. And when he called out Putra, Ha Putra, even the trees were feeling separation from Sukdev Goswami. And they were also echoing, Ha Putra, Ha Putra. So the quality of a pure devotee is that he has affection for all living beings, including moving and non-moving. And similarly, all living beings have affection for him. Prinanam and Sarva Jagatam Anurakta. So these are two different things. These are two different things. So once, one of the disciples asked his spiritual master, how is that all devotees, they love you? So spiritual master said, because I love all of them. So there are two different things. And then the third is sadguna. And then happiness, sukham. So the happiness, okay. Why Jagat Prinam and Sarjagana are mentioned separately? I mentioned this. And others are controlling all others and producing auspiciousness in all others. Now here, we discuss this Jagat Prinam, Sarvanakta and Guna, Sadgunam, Sukha. Sukha is again of three types. Happiness from material things, Vaishekam, Brahmam, happiness from Brahman realization, and Aishwarya, happiness from the Supreme Lord. So all these three he possesses for one who is practicing Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti. Now again the same verse is quoted by Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita, Sadguna Prabhatam. The same verse he quotes. Now here I mentioned Sura refers to the Supreme Lord and others. That is first the Lord and then his attendants, the Devatas and the Rishis. So he develops all the qualities which are present in the Lord, in the Devatas, in the Rishis, everything beginning from the Lord. If Bhakti gave only the qualities of Devata, that would not be remarkable. Even Devata worshippers can obtain those qualities, which will predominantly be material Satguna. Thus, Sura means the Lord and others. Now, as I was mentioning, that we need to investigate that are these qualities of sadhana bhakti, that is what? Shubhada in us. The first thing which even Vishwanath Thakur in his Madhurya Kadamini brings up is in sadhana bhakti there is two divisions. Sorry, there's two qualities. One is Kleshagni and another is Shubhada. So although he mentions about this bhakti creeper, which has two leaves, right? The upper portion and the lower portion. The upper is Raga, the lower is Vaidhi, because the lower portion is a little rough. The upper portion is soft. So, within this sadhana bhakti, there is Kleshagni and Shubhada. So, although this creeper, we can see practically also when the creeper comes, there are leaves which come simultaneously. There are leaves. So, although when we start practicing even Shuddha sadhana bhakti, Shubhada happens at a later stage. There is first what? Kleshagni. At the end of Anarth Nivritti and with the beginning of Nishta, then slowly all these qualities start manifesting of Shubhada. Although it is mentioned that both the leaves spring up with the creeper, but in reality, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur and the Acharyas mention that it is what? First Kleshagni which happens, and then slowly Shubhada, the qualities start manifesting. So, this is now from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the southern division, where Krishna's qualities are mentioned. Starting with Satyavakya Ityadya, Rinam, truthful, bashful, all these qualities are there. The learned understand that the qualities of Krishna from truthful quality to bashful 36 are present in the devotees of Krishna. This is Rupa Goswami says. This is a significant discovery. Why? Because we know that there is difference between Ashuddha Bhakti and Shuddha Bhakti. And furthermore, we also know that there is difference between Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti and Shuddha Bhava Bhakti and Shuddha Prema Bhakti. If we consider the engagement in Ashuddha Bhakti to be step 0, then there are 3 steps in Shuddha Bhakti. Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti, Shuddha Bhava Bhakti and Shuddha Prema Bhakti. So my point is that we need to look into the ingredients, the devotional ingredients, whether that Anya Vilashita Shunyam is there, and whether there is Karma Avran or Jnana Avran happening. Because that is what makes the bhakti pure. So only when we come to that stage of practicing Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti does Kleshagni start happening at full speed. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Now you have kept your pot for cooking rice. The fire is lit down here and the pot is on the ceiling. And you expect the rice to be cooked. And many years have passed. Why has Kleshagni not yet happened? Because Tivrena Bhakti Yogena is not there. And Tivrena Bhakti Yogena means it is unmixed with karma and Gyan. So, Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti. How do I know if I or someone else has upgraded from Ashuddha Bhakti to the stage of Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti then? Before dealing with that, it should be noted that Srila Rupa Goswami has stated Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that there are 6 features of Shuddha Bhakti. At the stage of Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti, one will experience the first 2 of these 6 features. At the stage of Shuddha Bhava Bhakti, one will experience the first 4 of these 6 features. And at the stage of Shuddha Prema Bhakti, one will experience all those 6 features. So everything has symptoms. So if you are practicing Shuddha Bhakti, then you will experience those characteristics. You will experience it. Now what are those features? That is Kleshagni Shubhada Moksha Lagutakrit Sudurlabha Sandranand Visheshatma Shri Krishna Akarshani Cha Sa. And then he gives this Shubhada, which we have already discussed. Did you notice possessing good qualities here? This implies that when one comes to the stage of Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti, one develops certain good qualities. Which good qualities exactly? That Srila Goswami himself has enlisted them elsewhere in the same Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. That is when he discusses the qualities of Krishna in the southern division. These good qualities are the ones I mentioned at the beginning of this post. That is the qualities of Krishna beginning from truthfulness to bashful. That is quality 8 to quality 26. Again, Prabhupada also in the Bhakti Rasamrit mentions these lists. So the point is that we need not work on the qualities. We need to work on practicing of Shuddha Bhakti. We need to understand what is the Mishran and avoid the Mishran and come to the point of practicing Shuddha Bhakti. And once we take up to that Shuddha Bhakti, then automatically these qualities will manifest, which Krishna also in the Uddhav Gita reference mentioned that. Now, this is one praman we discussed. Now we can go into many other pramanas in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Then again from Madhur Kadamni. I'll just in the Bhagavad Gita uh, mention this verse. I'll not discuss this because again it requires elaborate discussion. These qualities are mentioned about a jnani. Amanitvam adambhitvam. He need to practice these qualities. And among these 20 qualities, there's one. Mai chanin yogena bhaktir avyabicharini. He practices also what kind of bhakti? Avyabicharini bhakti. Now there is difference between avyabicharini bhakti and ananya bhakti or ahetuki bhakti. Because Krishna also uses this term only here, and where else does Krishna use this term, Avyabicharini Bhakti? Mamcha va Sagunan Samitaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Interestingly, by practicing Avyabicharini Bhakti, he doesn't attain Krishna, he attains what? Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Attains Brahman. That means he is a Jnana Mishra Bhakta. His bhakti is Avyabhicharini, means his bhakti, his practice of bhakti is with one pointed goal, with no distraction, no deviation. And that goal is that he wants to attain Brahman. So there is a hetu in that. He wants to attain liberation. Whereas Ananya Bhakti or a Hetuki Bhakti is what? No other desire except the desire to please the Lord. And that is what is Ananya Bhakti or Shuddha Bhakti. So here in this discussion, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur mentions that a Jnana Mishra Bhakta has to cultivate all these 20 qualities. But a pure devotee, if he practices Ananya Bhakti, then all the qualities will automatically manifest. He need not work on any of them. Very clearly he mentions. Very clearly he goes on to that discussion, and even Prabhupada in his purport explains that. But again we should remember, it is not Avyabhicharini Bhakti which is to be practiced. It is to be understood that it is Ananya Bhakti which is to be practiced there. Because the 13 to the 18 chapters speak about Jnana Yoga. Actually it is Jnana Mishra Bhakti. And how a Jnana Mishra Bhakta comes to Shuddha Bhakti, that transition is also discussed by the Lord in these chapters. So it is only by Shuddha Bhakti all these qualities manifest. And the classic example of this is Mrigari from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. By the mercy of Chaitanya Narad Muni, he attained pure devotion. And all the qualities in him automatically manifested. He did not work on them. By practice of Shuddha Bhakti itself, all these qualities of Himsa-adi, Ahimsa-adi, not to, cause hurt to others. And he was not ready to, bow down because of ants. He had to move the ants and then. So he did not practice the Yama Niyama given of Ashtanga Yoga. Just by practice of Shuddha Bhakti, all these qualities automatically manifested in him. So this is another praman from the Bhagavad Gita, and like that we have many other evidences to prove that just by practice of Shuddha Bhakti, all the qualities will manifest. And if Kleshagni is still not happening and Shubhada is not happening, then we need to check whether our bhakti is Shuddha or Mishra. And we need to work on that. And that's why even in Kapil Shiksha, when Mother Devuti asks this question, Kapil Dev starts discussing Adhyatma Yoga. And first he mentions Sadhya Bhakti. And the Siddha who is experiencing the Lord, he discusses that in the 25th chapter. And then 26 and 27 he discusses Jnana Yoga, liberation. 28 discusses Ashtanga Yoga, liberation by Ashtanga Yoga. But in 29th chapter, when Devuti speaks about, kindly speak about more about Bhakti Yoga, I am interested to practice Bhakti Yoga. Kapil Dev first speaks about Mishra Bhakti and then only gives the definition of Shuddha Bhakti, that is Nirguna Bhakti there. So we need to work and try to understand what is mixed devotion first. Then you can understand where is the avaran happening, karma avaran or jnana avaran. And then when you start working on it, then you will be able to understand that whether I am practicing mixed devotion or pure devotion. And once you take up to pure devotion, then these qualities will automatically manifest and you need not work on them. Because in some of the purports of Prabhupada emphasizes, then one should work on the qualities. And in some purports, he says, all these qualities manifest automatically. Then it seems like a contradiction. But then you'll have to check in which chapter does Prabhupada speaks about it. Because in the divine and the demonic, Daiva Asur Sampad Yoga, he speaks about it, that about the quality. But then again that is in the modes, that practice of bhakti is not Shuddha Bhakti. But for Shuddha Bhakti, he says, automatically these qualities will manifest. So that is how we need to understand. Okay, any questions on what we discussed? Yes, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much. Very, very wonderful class. Very nicely what is covered. Prabhuji, my question was, you mentioned, you said Yasyasti Bhakti, you said all the qualities. You said like when all the qualities, you said that it's all the qualities are not just the demigods, but of Krishna.
Of the Lord, Sura. To the Lord actually.
Yeah.
And all the demigods and rishis.
Yeah, so basically you get the superset, right, the first half. So my question is, because when we learned like Krishna's qualities, like what was the 64 qualities which are mentioned, and at that time it was taught like of those 64 qualities, then Lord Narayan out of that 64, Lord Narayan has the exact number, maybe 60, he has 60, and then Lord Shiva has something this number, and then the Jiva has so many kind of numbers. 50, So I mean, but here we are saying that all 64 one will get, like if one does.
No, here it is mentioned, there the analysis is from a different perspective about Bhagavan and Shiva and Brahma and us. That here we are mentioning about whatever qualities are there in the Lord, like Satya. This quality also will develop in the devotee. Compassion. This quality also will manifest in the devotee. So these qualities are mentioned in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So there the analysis of Rupa Goswami is of different, from a different angle, from a different perspective. And here the emphasis is on that these qualities, Shubhadha, will manifest, which are there in the Lord. That's the difference between the two. Is it okay? Any other questions? Yes, Rupanuga Bhakt Prabhuji. No, I will. It's because it's a long discussion. We need 3-4 sessions for that.
Time is there. I have a few questions. Thank you very much, first of all, for giving this class. It's so material, and I really like the point when you established Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti. So it's just like you demystified many things in our head. So thank you very much. Few questions. Just like you mentioned that yes, the Shuddha Bhakti is not mixed with the Jnana and Karma, Anava. So we practice Krishna Consciousness. So every devotee has a journey. So he comes in movement, he starts chanting, and gradually he himself is not aware that he's practicing which bhakti. So he's just practicing the process. But there are some remnants from the previous life, or maybe from the previous understanding, or in this life understanding. So he will be carrying some remnants of Jnana and Karma, and gradually it takes time. So first question is that what are the symptoms by which a devotee can recognize himself in his personal practices that his bhakti was not Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti, it was Jnana mixed bhakti or Karma mixed bhakti. So in how can one can sense, yes, maybe daily practices of his worship, maybe bhoga offering, maybe chanting, maybe preaching, maybe doing kirtan.
Yeah.
So what is the mentality of that devotee who will be like mixed with them?
Yeah, it's a very important point Prabhuji has brought up. Yes, when we take up to devotional service, we have a understanding that we are practicing devotional service. But devotional service means, as Rupa Goswami says, pure devotional service. So, to practice pure devotional service, you need adhikar. Everything requires adhikar. So, again, these terminologies, Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama, have been used in different contexts. And we don't understand, in what context, what this meaning is. But from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu perspective, we'll have to understand first. From the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu perspective, adhikar for practicing what? Shuddha Bhakti. And there he speaks about Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama. And all our acharyas are clear that a Kanishta Adhikari is not practicing Shuddha Bhakti. He is practicing Mishra Bhakti. Only when you come to the platform of Madhyam Adhikar, Madhyam Adhikari. Now, Madhyam Adhikari means he is still trying to attain the qualification to practice Bhakti. And this classification of Adhikari is based on two aspects. That is faith and knowledge. Faith and knowledge. So his development of faith is happening. Still, he has not entered the school of Bhakti. He is still writing his entrance exams to enter the college. Every time he is attempting, first year, second year, many times People attempt 2-3 years to, crack the exams. So for many years, we are practicing bhakti still to get entrance into practice of pure devotion. So we need to work on two things: development of faith and development of knowledge. And another aspect is, yes, as you mentioned, that there is the karma avaran or the jnana avaran happening. It is happening. So how it happens is because of what? Impressions in the subtle body. Now, because I have these unlimited impressions in the subtle body, I have a particular nature, swabhav, and I'm conditioned by that nature. Right? And because I'm conditioned by that nature, there is a stimulus and I act according to that stimulus. Now, this stimulus is part of the stimulus which is based on my swabhav. And although I'm engaged in devotional activities, but that engagement, there is what? Avaran. It is not bhakti. It is not Shuddha Bhakti. But the stimulus which is impelled by the soul, that is what is called as the Mukhya Vritti, and actions done, that is pure devotional service. So we need to distinguish. And this avaran, or the impressions which are there in the subtle body, which nature we are impelled to do actions, even in devotional service, this is mixed. And as long as the effect of modes are there, and as long as this impressions are there, you will be impelled. So only when the influence of the modes is gone, and by doing these actions and learning the hard way to do actions without desiring any fruits, then slowly there is a purification of the swabha. And when you are completely transcendental and no more influenced by the modes, then your bhakti begins. Your bhakti begins. So that's why we need to understand now what are the influences, what is my nature. Because I am surrendered to my nature. Even if my authorities tell that, I do this, you do this service, no, I am inclined to do this service because that's my nature. So that means you have not come to the point of sarva dharman paritej. So only when you come to that point, then devotion begins. And when we say devotion begins, pure devotion begins. So that's the Madhyamadhikari stage. Rupa Goswami explains in the Bhakti Rasamrita. It's the Madhyamadhikari platform. And up till then, the influence is there. That means karma avaran is happening, or jnana avaran is happening. So then we need to work on understanding what is the definition of pure devotional service and acquiring that knowledge. The understanding is very important. And then when you understand and then you start acting, then you can understand whether I am influenced by the modes or influenced by the dictations of the authority and acting. So like that, we need to carefully evaluate and then start doing. And then we understand. Because the beginning of, or the definition of pure devotional service, if you see, it is ahetuki apratihava. And we need to study Rupa Goswami's definition. There is continuous service. Anushilanam it is. Anu means continuous, without a break. And that's why, if you see in the Gita also it is said, Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakriti mashrita bhajante ananya manasu gyatva bhutadim avayam. And satatam kirtaya. Satatam. Now, simple example you can see, suppose we are all told just sit here morning to evening and just hear Bhagavatam. And we know what will happen. The influence of the modes will be very, very powerful on us. But whole day there is activity in in the form of decorating, in the form of running around and getting so many things for decorating the temple. We'll be active in that service. So there is, the swabhav of the soul, that is pure devotional service. That means only practicing the Navvidha Bhakti. And then there are actions which are done based on our nature. So we are impelled to do what? Actions based on our nature. And not the soul's action which is on the transcendental platform. So we need to evaluate that and get, which force is being impelled and how I need to work on it. And then slowly, come to the understanding of the definition of pure devotional service and then work on it. Is it okay, Prabhuji?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So good. If someone don't have questions, can I ask one? Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Just to clarify a little bit when you say that when the impetus come from within and the motivation has become pure, we only engage in Navavida Bhakti. I want to clarify this a little bit because in devotional service there are so many things which need to be, even the definition of Archana includes so many activities. Prabhupada says even collecting funds is part of Archana.
Yes.
So would it be something like engage only in the Navavida Bhakti as well as do the needful? Because when we are influenced by the modes, we have a tendency to reject some services and bend towards other services which are our nature. And then, usually those who engage devotees, they have to pilot and see what qualities they have in order to engage them according to that, because that's the only thing they can do.
Yes.
They can't bend because
Yes,
they are
yes.
conditioned.
Yes.
And so when one becomes purified, engages in Navavida Bhakti, yes, of course, the person will chant more and hear more, be more engaged in the direct devotional service. But does that also mean that, my question is that the person will be ready to do anything which is required? Because instead of just acting according to their nature, because in Navavida Bhakti, when you run a temple in Navavida Bhakti, there are so many things that needs done. And you see some devotees, whatever you ask them to do, they will try to do it. And some others like, well, I don't like that one. So there is a big difference between the two. One seems to be like more able to overcome the nature, his own nature, seem to be more inclined to surrender, to see what needs done for Krishna. So would that also come under that? Because when you say just practice Navavida Bhakti, then I wonder what exactly that
Yes.
means.
Okay. We'll clarify this. Now, it is interesting if we study after defining sadhana bhakti by Rupa Goswami in the second wave, Eastern Division, he speaks about Vaidhi sadhana bhakti definition and then the limbs of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. And there are the 64 limbs of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. The 64 limbs in Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. And as a praman, as a proof also, when he defines the sadhana bhakti, he gives the proof from the Padma Puran. Smartavya satatam Vishnu, vismartavya najatachit. He gives this as a praman. Now, in the 64 items of devotional service, he interestingly mentions that there are two things, karmarpanam and kainkaryam. Now, when I've been told to do the deity worship, those actions are part of pure devotional service. Those actions are what? Part of pure devotional service. But again, on what platform you are acting. Kainkarya means I am the servant of Krishna. That is, I recognize my identity as a soul. Whereas what Rupa Goswami makes it very clear, Karmarpanam is not what? Part of Vaidhi Bhakti or Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti. Very clearly, it is not a ang. Because Karmarpanam means according to my nature. So it is Mishra. So I'll give you an example, very clear, simple example to understand. As I was mentioning this verse, Smartavya Satatam Vishnu, Vismartavya Najatuchit. Now what is the difference? Why, this verse is saying this? Smartavya Satatam Vishnu means pure devotional service. Vismartavya Najatuchit means mixed devotional service. Now I go to the market and buy shark and then come and cook and offer that to the deities. Now why do I go and buy the shark? Why do I cook and then I do the offering? Now all these actions which I do is because Mahaprabhu likes shark. So all those actions are not karma but they are Shuddha Bhakti. Whereas I like pasta, I'm giving the example of pasta, please don't feel bad. I go to the shop and buy, I cook. All those actions are karma. They are not bhakti. They are not bhakti, they are karma. And why I am doing this pasta? Because I like it. And I do what? Offering. I don't forget to offer. Yad karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad joasi, yad dadasi. Tat kurusva madarpanam. It is arpanam. Arpanam means karma, arpanam. So this definition of pure devotional service is anya abhilashita shunyam. This is a very exalted platform. It's anya abhilashita shunyam. So when we have no other desire than the desire to please the Lord, those actions, they are coming now from the Mukhya Vritti. That means those actions are not karma, but they are direct, pure devotional service. So only those actions which fit in this purview, Rupa Goswami says follow in the Vaidhi sadhana. The other actions what we are doing throughout the day, those are also bhakti, but that is not Shuddha Bhakti. It will take you to the point of Shuddha Bhakti. So the engagement has to be given. Very, very important. Whatever is one's nature, you have to engage them so that slowly over a period of time, in this lifetime or next lifetime, they can take up to what? Shuddha Bhakti. I just had a very recent experience. Just few days back, I was in Delhi. And there is a simple Oriya person. His whole day busy, engaged in all the activities. In the godown, he'll go and get the books. He'll go to give it to the distributor. In the morning, he'll go to the temple, the east of Kailash temple, pick up a Mataji because the Mataji cannot drive the car. He'll drive the car early morning, go to the temple, take her to darshan, finish the darshan arti till 2 hours and come back, drop her home, come to our temple here, that is GK3, and the whole day is engaged, cleaning the temple, then cleaning the rooms, getting all the paraphernalia for the deity, the grocery, everything. So he's all the time engaged. But I asked him one question, how many rounds you chant? He said, Prabhuji, only one round. And while chanting that one round also, he's, having difficulty. So he is very elevated because he is practicing bhakti. But that cannot be Shuddha Bhakti. So, but it can lead to Shuddha Bhakti. So we need to clearly identify that what is one's nature, and based on that nature, we engage them ultimately so that they can come to the point of practicing Shuddha Bhakti. And that's why Krishna also understands this. And that's why in the 12.8, he brings up this whole series. Mayeva mana adasva, mayi buddhim nivashyasi mameva ata urdhvam na samshaya. Only twice Krishna, or three times, he says that only one who practices pure devotional service will come to me. It is this verse and 8.7. And another verse he says. In the next verse, if you are not at this level, then ata chittam na samadhatum shaknosi mahistiram abhyas, practice. That the chit is not pure. There is swabhav conditioning. Then you do abhyas. And then you'll develop a desire to attain me, he says. He says you'll not attain me. He said you'll develop a desire. If you're not at this level, then next level, you work for me and offer that work to me. So Krishna is giving different levels. So within Bhakti Yoga, there is Shuddha Bhakti, there is Jnana, and within that also there is Karma. Now we are speaking within Bhakti Yoga, not Karma Yoga as a different process, Jnana Yoga as a different process. So whichever level we are in, we engage that so that ultimately we can come to the point of Shuddha Bhakti. That's the point. So for that, we have to understand all these other aspects of mixed devotion and what is pure devotion. And only when we understand that, we have a clear, picture as to where one is situated and how to take them to the next step. Does that make sense, Mataji?
Yes, that's good. Refinement and purity of desire.
Yes.
Yes, the refinement of our purity to serve.
Yes.
That's clear. That's clear.
Of course, Jiva Goswami goes more detail into this. He mentions about somebody who's a farmer. He plows his field, grows the crop, and the whole crop, 100%, everything what he has grown, he gives to the temple. Whether he's practicing Shuddha Bhakti, he says no. It's karma and is arpanam, offering. But with what intention? If he's offering this, with a desire that, I should grow more, or he's offering this with bhakti matra kam, I should only get what? Pure devotion. But his attachment is to what? Karma, performance of agriculture activities, because that is his nature. That is his swabhava. Jai Jai Shri Radha Govinda Ki Jai. That is his swabhava. So if he is on the transcendental platform, then why would he perform karma? He would directly practice the angas of pure devotional service. So with what intention also one does of the offering, and there are different levels in that. And we know many devotees give donation to the temple, but they have certain intention and desires. My name should be announced. Somebody can give a donation without anyone knowing it also. That is on a different platform. Somebody will not just give a donation for prasadam, but he will get the ingredients, he will cook, and he'll himself serve. That's on a different platform. So with what kind of intentions one is performing, based on that his level of consciousness is slowly coming to the point where he can take up to what? Shuddha Bhakti. That's the point. I hope this makes it more clear. Okay. Stop now.
had one question. My question has been answered. Should we have one more question?
Yeah.
What is the difference?
Wait to the mic.
Mic.
People are muted.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for more examples and the more. आवाज आ रही है? Okay. So question is, you mentioned about in between vairagya and vritti. Are they same?
Vairagya and
Virakti.
Virakti.
Virakti. The eight symptoms of bhav. This word is
No,
mentioned.
I did not mention anything about it as far as I know. Only Bhakti Parishanu Bhav Virakti, that verse was there.
Yes. So
But I.
Yeah. That time you mentioned about virakti,
Huh.
and nearby there is also word vairagya. In your conversation, in your words, you are mentioning this.
I was
word
mentioning
vairagya.
another point of the Mukhya Vritti and the Gauna Vritti. These were the two terms, and Virakti was a term which we discussed in Bhakti Parishanu Bhav Virakti.
Virakti.
Yeah.
So when you were mentioning this virakti, that time you mentioned about vairagya also. So are they synonyms, or is there any difference between vairagya and virakti?
Now, Virakti is same as Vairagya. Again, there are different types of Vairagyas. And another point which I would like to personally tell about my own personal experience, after practicing so many years devotion, I don't feel I'm still detached from this material world, to be very frank. So why has detachment still not manifested? This was a question which was haunting me. And then when I studied this verse, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janeti Ashu, it is mentioned what? Quickly. Vairagyam and Jnanam Yad Ahitukam. So it's only recently that I discovered that this bhakti which is being discussed is bhakti which has attained sadhya. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. Bhakti Yoga Prayojita means Bhakti Yoga which has come to the stage of Prayojan. That is what? Shuddha Bhakti. And that is Bhava Bhakti or Prema Bhakti. Janeti Ashu. So only at the stage of Bhava Bhakti, what happens? There is complete detachment from matter and there is complete attachment to Krishna. So in even sadhana stage, so the sadhana stage, there is detachment, but it oscillates. But only at the stage of bhava, the detachment is complete. And that's why this verse is referring to sadhya bhakti. At only sadhya bhakti, there is complete detachment from matter. And jnanam refers to here realized knowledge. We have jnana, but the vigyan must be very less. It's not like a complete digital thing. We might be having 50% jnana, 5% vigyan. But only when the jnana transforms completely into vigyan, then there is complete detachment. Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. It is Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam there. So that's why, we are trying to attain knowledge, but that realization when it comes, then there is detachment. Otherwise, we know that today we overeat a little Mahaprasad, we face some trouble with the stomach, we suffer, but we don't learn. Next day we also overeat. It's going on, right? Like that realization is not there. So like that, only at that stage, the vairagya is complete. That is, it is a byproduct of bhakti there. But another point, just to make it clear, is that with the practice of bhakti, sometimes there is a tendency to practice vairagya prayas. And this is very subtle. Instead of focusing on practice of Shuddha Bhakti, sometimes there is more of practice of what? Vairagya. And this is unfavorable to the practice of pure devotional service, which Rupa Goswami has mentioned in Updeshamrit. Atyahara prayas. So there can be too much of karma prayas, there can be too much of jnana prayas, vairagya prayas, ashtanga yoga prayas. But bhakti, actually we should endeavor in bhakti prayas, practice of pure devotional service. That's the point. Is it okay?
With the presentation be available?
Yeah, you can have it.
Thank you very much. Kind of.
Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.